Hey there. Tonight the journey begins with one of history's most fascinating figures, Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, whose legendary beauty has captivated imaginations for over 2,000 years. But this isn't about myths or legends. It's about understanding the actual practices, ingredients, routines, and cultural context that contributed to Cleopatra's renowned appearance and the sophisticated Egyptian beauty culture she embodied. Cleopatra's beauty wasn't just about physical appearance. It was intelligence, charisma, education, political acumen, and the careful cultivation of an image that combined traditional Egyptian queenship with Hellenistic sophistication. Her beauty routine was part of a larger strategy of power, incorporating ancient Egyptian knowledge, Greek influences, and the vast resources of one of the ancient world's wealthiest kingdoms. Before settling in, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if this deep exploration into ancient royal beauty care speaks to something within, and share in the comments where in the world this finds its audience, and what hour marks the clock. It's always remarkable to see how the quest for beauty and personal care connects us across millennia. Now, dim the lights, perhaps let a gentle sound fill the background, and let the story of Cleopatra's beauty secrets unfold at its own measured, detailed pace, perfect for drifting into peaceful rest. When we think of Cleopatra today, we often imagine a woman of extraordinary physical beauty, thanks to centuries of artistic representations, Hollywood films, and romantic retellings of her story. But ancient sources paint a more nuanced picture. The Greek historian Plutarch, writing about a century and a half after Cleopatra's life, noted that her beauty wasn't necessarily overwhelming by itself, but rather it was her presence, intelligence, charm, and the sweetness of her voice that made her irresistible. This suggests that Cleopatra's legendary appeal came from the total package she presented: her education in multiple languages, her political intelligence, her understanding of theatre and presentation, and yes, her carefully maintained appearance that reflected Egyptian ideals of royal beauty. Understanding how she maintained her appearance requires understanding the sophisticated Egyptian beauty culture that had developed over 3,000 years before her birth. Cleopatra lived from 69 BCE to 30 BCE, ruling Egypt during the Ptolemaic period when Egypt was under Greek cultural influence, while maintaining Egyptian traditions. She was actually ethnically Greek, descended from Ptolemy I, one of Alexander the Great's generals who founded the Ptolemaic dynasty after Alexander's death. However, Cleopatra, uniquely among Ptolemaic rulers, embraced Egyptian culture, learning the Egyptian language and presenting herself as a traditional Egyptian pharaoh. This cultural position meant Cleopatra drew on both Egyptian and Hellenistic beauty traditions. She had access to 3,000 years of accumulated Egyptian beauty knowledge, plus the Greek and Roman practices of her time. Her beauty routine was therefore particularly sophisticated, combining the best of multiple traditions. The political context of Cleopatra's life meant that her appearance was a tool of statecraft. As a woman ruling in a male-dominated political environment, as a pharaoh of a wealthy kingdom surrounded by rivals, as someone who needed to command respect from both Egyptian subjects and foreign powers, Cleopatra's presentation mattered enormously. Every aspect of her appearance was calculated to project power, wealth, legitimacy, and desirability. The resources available to Cleopatra were vast. Egypt was one of the wealthiest regions of the ancient world, with agricultural abundance from Nile flooding, extensive trade networks bringing goods from across the Mediterranean and beyond, and millennia of accumulated knowledge about cosmetics and personal care. Cleopatra could access any ingredient, employ the most skilled practitioners, and devote unlimited time to beauty maintenance. The story tonight moves through Cleopatra's daily routines, the ingredients and treatments she used, the cultural meanings of her beauty practices, the servants and specialists who maintained her appearance, and the political implications of her legendary beauty. The journey is detailed and thorough, examining not just what Cleopatra did, but why she did it, how it worked, and what it meant in her historical moment. To understand Cleopatra's beauty routine, we must first understand the Egyptian beauty tradition she inherited. Ancient Egypt had developed sophisticated approaches to personal care and beauty over 3,000 years before Cleopatra's birth. This accumulated knowledge formed the foundation of her practices. Egyptian beauty culture was fundamentally connected to religious beliefs about purity, order, and the proper relationship between humans and the divine. Cleanliness wasn't just practical hygiene, but was understood as spiritual practice. The gods expected humans, especially rulers, to present themselves properly, which meant maintaining cleanliness and appropriate grooming. The concept of mat, meaning order, balance and truth, pervaded Egyptian culture and influenced beauty practices. Personal grooming contributed to maintaining mat by keeping one's physical form in proper order. Disorder in appearance suggested disorder in character or spiritual state. For a pharaoh like Cleopatra, maintaining perfect appearance was a sacred duty as well as practical necessity. The hot, dry Egyptian climate created specific beauty challenges that millennia of Egyptian practice had addressed. The intense sun could damage skin severely. The dry air sucked moisture from skin and hair. The omnipresent dust and sand from the desert accumulated on skin and in hair. Egyptian beauty practices developed specifically to protect against these environmental factors. Water was central to Egyptian life and to beauty practices. The Nile provided not just drinking water and irrigation, but also bathing water. Egyptians bathed frequently, considering regular washing essential for both health and ritual purity. The act of bathing was itself religiously significant, associated with renewal and purification. The bathing facilities available to Egyptian royalty were sophisticated. Archaeological evidence from palaces reveals dedicated bathing rooms with drainage systems, water supply arrangements, and spaces designed specifically for personal care. These weren't simple wash areas, but elaborately constructed rooms where extensive beauty routines could be performed comfortably. Cleopatra's daily bathing would have been an extended ritual involving multiple stages and various attendants. The process wasn't rushed, but was a leisurely routine that combined cleansing with relaxation, and allowed time for various treatments to be applied and work effectively. The cleansing agents Egyptians used were sophisticated for their time. Natron, a naturally occurring mineral salt, was the primary cleansing substance. Natron is a mixture of sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate found in dried lake beds in Egypt. When mixed with water and oils, natron created an effective cleanser that removed dirt and excess oil without being harshly drying. The use of natron required skill and proper proportioning. Too much natron could overly dry skin, while too little wouldn't cleanse effectively. The servants who prepared Cleopatra's bath products would have been experts in creating properly balanced preparations that cleansed thoroughly while respecting skin's natural moisture balance. Beyond natron, Egyptians used various plant-based cleansing agents. Certain plants produce saponins, natural compounds that create lather and have cleansing properties. While these were less commonly used than natron, they provided alternative cleansing options, particularly for facial washing where gentler cleansing was preferred. Egyptian bathing water often included various additives that enhanced the experience and provided additional benefits. Milk was added to bath water by wealthy Egyptians for its skin-softening properties. Honey provided antimicrobial benefits and moisture. Various flower petals added fragrance, while some released beneficial compounds into the water. The famous milk baths associated with Cleopatra were real Egyptian practice, not mere legend. Milk, particularly donkey's milk, was indeed used in bathing by those who could afford it. The lactic acid in milk provides gentle exfoliation, removing dead skin cells and revealing the smoother, brighter skin beneath. The effectiveness of milk baths wasn't understood scientifically in Cleopatra's time. The Egyptians didn't know about lactic acid or alpha-hydroxy acids, but they recognized through experience that milk bathing created noticeably softer, more radiant skin. The practice was therefore maintained and passed down through Egyptian royal tradition. Donkey's milk specifically was considered superior to cow's milk for bathing purposes. Donkey's milk has composition closer to human milk than cow's milk does, with higher levels of certain proteins and different fat structure. Whether these compositional differences actually made donkey's milk superior for bathing purposes is debatable, but the belief in its superiority made it the preferred choice for those who could access it. The logistics of providing milk baths were substantial. A single bath required the milk of numerous donkeys. Maintaining herds of donkeys specifically for milk production represented significant resource investment. The ability to regularly take milk baths was therefore a clear display of wealth and status, as much as it was a beauty treatment. After bathing, oil application was essential in Egypt's dry climate. The primary Egyptian moisturizer was moringa oil, extracted from seeds of the moringa tree. Moringa oil is light, absorbs readily into skin, and provides excellent moisturization without feeling heavy or greasy. The Egyptians recognized its superior properties and made it their standard moisturizing oil. Beyond moringa, Egyptians used various other oils depending on availability, purpose, and body area. Castor oil, pressed from castor beans, was thicker and used for particularly dry areas, or as a richer moisture treatment. Sesame oil, imported through trade, was valued for its pleasant scent and good moisturizing properties. The application of oil wasn't simply smearing it on haphazardly. Proper Egyptian oil application involved massage techniques that worked the oil into skin while stimulating circulation and providing relaxation. The massage enhanced the oil's benefits while creating a pleasant, luxurious experience that made daily oil application something to look forward to rather than a mere chore. Cleopatra would have had skilled servants trained specifically in massage techniques. These massage specialists knew anatomical points, pressure levels, and movements that maximize both the physical benefits and the pleasurable sensations. The daily oil massage would have been a significant part of Cleopatra's beauty routine, taking substantial time but providing multiple benefits. The scenting of oils was an important aspect of Egyptian beauty culture. Unscented oils provided moisture, but scented oils added olfactory pleasure that enhanced the overall experience. Egyptian perfumers created complex scented oils using flowers, resins, woods, and spices, demonstrating sophisticated understanding of fragrance creation. The process of scenting oils involved various techniques depending on the scent source. Flower scents were captured through enfleurage, laying petals on fat or oil that absorbed their fragrance. Then separating the scented fat or oil resin scents were created by dissolving resins in oil. Wood scents came from soaking aromatic woods in oil to transfer their fragrance. Frankincense and myrrh, imported from Arabia through long-established trade routes, were particularly prized in Egyptian perfumery. Both resins produced distinctive, complex scents that were associated with luxury and religious ritual. Using frankincense or myrrh-scented oils demonstrated wealth, while creating olfactory associations with divinity. Rose scent, though roses weren't native to ancient Egypt, was available through trade and was valued for its beautiful fragrance. By Cleopatra's time, rose cultivation had spread throughout the Mediterranean, and rose-scented preparations were accessible to Egyptian royalty. Rose oil or rose water provided both fragrance and some skin-soothing benefits. Lotus flowers, native to Egypt and sacred in Egyptian religion, provided another valued scent. Blue lotus and white lotus both had distinctive fragrances that Egyptians captured in oils and used in perfumes and scented preparations. The religious associations of lotus added spiritual dimension to its use in personal care. The daily bathing and oiling routine formed the foundation of Egyptian skincare. This basic regimen, thorough cleansing followed by generous moisturizing, addressed the fundamental skin needs created by Egypt's climate. Beyond this foundation, various additional treatments address specific concerns or enhanced appearance further. The most famous aspect of Cleopatra's beauty routine is her use of milk and honey, two ingredients that ancient sources repeatedly associate with her. While some details have been embellished over centuries, the core truth is that Cleopatra did indeed use these ingredients extensively, and for good biochemical reasons. Milk's benefits for skin come primarily from its lactic acid content. Lactic acid is an alpha-hydroxy acid, AHA, that gently dissolves the bonds holding dead skin cells on the surface. This allows the dead cells to shed more easily, revealing fresher, smoother, more even-toned skin beneath. Regular mild acid exfoliation creates the glowing, refined skin texture that Cleopatra was renowned for. The concentration of lactic acid in milk is relatively low compared to modern cosmetic acid preparations, meaning milk provides gentle exfoliation that can be used regularly without irritation. This gentle action was ideal for daily or frequent use as part of Cleopatra's routine, gradually improving skin quality without dramatic peeling or obvious downtime. Different types of milk contain varying concentrations of lactic acid and have different fat contents affecting their moisturizing properties. Donkey's milk, Cleopatra's reported favorite, has moderate fat content and good protein levels, creating balanced exfoliation and moisture. The proteins in milk also provide some nourishment to skin, though topical protein benefits are limited compared to dietary protein. The milk baths that Cleopatra famously took involved filling an entire bathing tub with milk, a practice requiring enormous quantities. Ancient sources, particularly later Roman writers fascinated by Cleopatra's luxury, describe her milk baths in detail, sometimes with exaggeration, but capturing the essential truth that she did practice this elaborate form of bathing. The process of taking a milk bath involved first warming the milk to comfortable temperature. Cold milk baths would have been unpleasant, while overly hot milk could have been uncomfortable and might denature some of the beneficial proteins servants would have carefully managed temperature to create optimal bathing conditions. Cleopatra would immerse herself in the milk bath and remain for an extended period, allowing the lactic acid time to work on her skin. The duration varied but likely ranged from 15 minutes to an hour or more. During this time she might have received facial treatments, had her hair washed or treated, or simply relaxed while the milk worked its magic. Servants attended Cleopatra during bathing, ensuring comfort, providing anything she needed, and performing various services. They might massage milk into her skin to enhance penetration, wash her hair with milk, or apply milk to her face as a mask separate from the bath. The presence of multiple attendants meant various treatments could occur simultaneously, making efficient use of the bathing time. After soaking in milk, Cleopatra would rinse with water to remove the milk residue. Leaving dried milk on skin would have been uncomfortable, and might have caused odour problems. The rinsing removed the milk while leaving behind its beneficial effects on skin texture and appearance. Following the milk bath and water rinse, oil application sealed moisture into the freshly exfoliated skin. The combination of milk's exfoliation with oil's moisture protection created optimal conditions for soft, glowing skin. This layered approach, cleansing, exfoliating, rinsing, moisturizing, demonstrates sophisticated understanding of effective skincare routines. Honey complemented milk in Cleopatra's beauty routine. Honey is naturally antimicrobial due to its low water content and the hydrogen peroxide it produces enzymatically. These antimicrobial properties prevent and treat minor skin blemishes, keeping skin clear and healthy. Honey's reputation as a healing substance was well earned and recognized throughout the ancient world. Beyond antimicrobial properties, honey is an excellent humectant, meaning it attracts and retains moisture. Applied to skin, honey draws moisture from the air and holds it against the skin, providing intensive hydration. This humectant property makes honey particularly beneficial in dry climates like Egypt's. Honey also contains enzymes that provide gentle exfoliation, similar to but different from milk's lactic acid action. The enzymatic activity breaks down dead skin cells, allowing them to be removed more easily. The combination of honey and milk therefore provided complementary exfoliation through different mechanisms, creating enhanced effects. The texture of honey makes it excellent for face masks. Honey adheres to skin, stays in place without dripping excessively, and spreads relatively easily despite its viscosity. These physical properties made honey practical for extended facial treatments, where the honey needed to remain on face for periods without running off or being uncomfortably heavy. Milk and honey masks combined both ingredients in preparations applied to face or body. The mixture of milk and honey created a treatment that exfoliated through two different mechanisms, provided both cleansing and antimicrobial protection, offered humectant moisture, and felt pleasant on skin. This combination treatment was perhaps Cleopatra's most signature beauty application. The preparation of milk and honey masks required care to create proper consistency. Pure honey is very thick, while milk is liquid. Finding the right proportions that created spreadable but not drippy consistency took experience and skill. Cleopatra's cosmetic servants would have been experts in creating perfectly balanced preparations. The application of milk and honey masks involves spreading the mixture evenly over face, neck, and potentially other body areas. The mask would be left in place for varying durations depending on purpose and individual skin response. Typical application times range from 15 minutes to over an hour. During the mask application time, Cleopatra could rest, receive other treatments on different body areas, or attend to business. The waiting period wasn't wasted time, but was incorporated into daily routines that involved multiple simultaneous activities managed by numerous servants. Removal of milk and honey masks required thorough rinsing with water. The sticky nature of honey meant that removal took care and patience. Servants would wash the mask away using warm water and gentle cloths, ensuring all residue was removed without irritating skin through harsh scrubbing. the skin after milk and honey treatment would be noticeably softer, smoother, and more radiant. The immediate effects lasted hours, while regular repeated treatments created cumulative improvements in skin texture, tone, and clarity. This combination of immediate and long-term benefits made milk and honey central to Cleopatra's beauty routine. Modern science validates the traditional Egyptian use of milk and honey. Contemporary skincare products often include lactic acid and honey, recognizing their proven benefits. Cleopatra's famous milk and honey treatments weren't ancient superstition, but were genuinely effective practices based on ingredients with real therapeutic properties. The expense of using milk and honey lavishly demonstrated wealth and status. While honey was valuable and milk was food, using both in quantities sufficient for extensive beauty treatments showed that Cleopatra commanded resources so abundant that their use for cosmetic purposes didn't strain her household's economy. The luxury itself was part of the message these treatments conveyed. Perfume and scented preparations were integral to Cleopatra's beauty routine and personal presentation. Ancient sources frequently mention her association with exquisite fragrances, suggesting that she understood fragrance as both personal pleasure and political tool. The scents she wore communicated luxury, sophistication, and an almost divine presence. Egyptian perfumery was extraordinarily sophisticated, representing millennia of accumulated knowledge about extracting, blending, and preserving fragrances. The Egyptians were master perfumers, whose products were sought throughout the ancient world. Cleopatra had access to the finest Egyptian perfume traditions plus Greek and Roman practices. The ingredients for Egyptian perfumes came from multiple sources across the ancient world. Local Egyptian flowers, including lotus, lily, and water lily, provided scents. Imported resins like frankincense and myrrh came from Arabia. Various spices arrived through trade routes from Asia. Woods, barks, and roots from different regions all contributed to the Egyptian perfumer's palette. Frankincense, the dried resin of boswellia trees growing in southern Arabia and the Horn of Africa, was perhaps the most important perfume ingredient in the ancient world. The resin produces a complex, warm, slightly sweet and spicy scent with spiritual associations. Frankincense was used in religious ceremonies throughout the ancient Near East, making its scent associated with divinity. Myrrh, from related trees in similar regions, provided another fundamental perfume note. Myrrh's scent is earthier and more bitter than frankincense, creating different olfactory effects. The combination of frankincense and myrrh created classic ancient perfume profiles that appeared in numerous Egyptian preparations. The process of extracting scents from flowers involved several techniques. Enfleurage, laying flower petals on purified fat that absorbed their scent, was one method. The scented fat, called a pomade, could be used directly, or the scent could be transferred to oil through washing the fat with oil that dissolved and carried away the fragrance. Maceration, soaking plant materials in oil or fat for extended periods, extracted scents through prolonged contact. The oil absorbed volatile compounds from the plant material, becoming scented. Different maceration times created different scent intensities, allowing perfumers to control the final fragrance strength. Distillation techniques existed in rudimentary forms during Cleopatra's time, though they wouldn't reach full sophistication for several more centuries. The ability to extract essential oils through distillation allowed creation of highly concentrated fragrances that could be diluted to any desired strength. Cleopatra's personal perfumes were almost certainly custom creations made specifically for her by royal perfumers. These weren't off-the-shelf products, but were unique formulations that reflected her preferences and were designed to create specific impressions. The exclusivity of her fragrances was part of their luxury. The famous story of Cleopatra's first meeting with Mark Antony describes her barge with perfumed sails, suggesting she understood the political use of fragrance. Whether this specific detail is historically accurate or romantic embellishment, it captures the truth that Cleopatra used scent strategically to create memorable, impressive presentations. Scented oils applied to skin after bathing provided both the moisturizing benefits of the oil carrier and the olfactory pleasure and effects of the fragrances. The oils were applied generously to entire body, creating an aura of fragrance around Cleopatra that preceded and followed her presence. Different scents were used for different occasions and purposes. Lighter, fresher scents might be worn daily, while heavier, more complex perfumes were reserved for formal occasions or political meetings. the strategic choice of fragrance allowed Cleopatra to control the olfactory impression she made in different contexts. Incense burning was common in Egyptian palaces, both for religious purposes and for creating pleasant ambient scent. The spaces where Cleopatra lived and worked would have been regularly perfumed with burning incense, creating olfactory environments that enhanced the overall sensory luxury of royal life. The clothing and textiles Cleopatra used were often scented by storing them with aromatic substances or sprinkling them with perfumed liquids. This ensured that her garments carried pleasant scents that mingled with her personal perfumes and the ambient incense, creating layers of fragrance. The use of fragrance wasn't purely aesthetic, but had practical benefits in the ancient world. Before modern deodorants and with limited clothing washing, personal scent required management perfumes masked any unpleasant odours while creating positive olfactory impressions. For someone in Cleopatra's position who interacted closely with others, managing personal scent was practically necessary. Perfume also had psychological effects that Cleopatra likely understood intuitively, even without modern psychological knowledge. Pleasant scents create positive emotional responses, making people feel more comfortable and favourably disposed. By surrounding herself with beautiful fragrances, Cleopatra created atmospheres that put people in positive states of mind. The association of particular scents with Cleopatra herself meant that people encountering those fragrances would be reminded of her, extending her presence beyond her physical location. This brand-like association was politically useful, keeping Cleopatra in people's thoughts and associating her with luxury and pleasure. The expense of the finest perfumes demonstrated Cleopatra's access to extensive trade networks and abundant resources. Using imported fragrances like frankincense and myrrh lavishly showed that she commanded wealth sufficient to acquire expensive goods from distant lands. The perfumes themselves became displays of power. The knowledge required to create sophisticated perfumes represented valuable, specialized expertise. The perfumers who created Cleopatra's scents possessed skills developed through long training and experience. Maintaining these specialists in the royal household demonstrated commitment to excellence and luxury. Modern attempts to recreate ancient Egyptian perfumes based on archaeological evidence and ancient descriptions have produced fragrances quite different from modern commercial perfumes. Ancient perfumes were generally heavier, more resinous, and more complex than contemporary fragrances, reflecting different aesthetic preferences and available ingredients. Cleopatra's legendary association with perfume contributed to her mystique, both in her lifetime and in historical memory. The idea of her presence being announced by exotic, beautiful scents before she even appeared became part of her legend, mixing fact with romantic elaboration, but capturing an essential truth about her sophisticated use of fragrance. Cleopatra's use of cosmetics was both personal beauty practice and political strategy. The carefully applied makeup she wore served multiple functions simultaneously, enhancing her appearance, protecting her skin, declaring her status, and creating a distinctive visual presentation that was calculated to impress and command. Egyptian eye makeup, particularly kohl, was the most distinctive and famous cosmetic practice. The dramatic darkening and elongation of the eyes that appears in Egyptian art reflects real practice, not artistic convention. Egyptians of both genders and all social classes who could afford it wore eye makeup, but royal application was particularly elaborate. Kohl was made by grinding mineral substances into fine powder and mixing with oils or fats to create a paste that could be applied to the eye area. The minerals used varied, with galena, lead sulfide, and malachite, a copper carbonate, being primary ingredients. These ground minerals created the characteristic black or green colours of Egyptian eye makeup. The application of kohl served multiple purposes beyond cosmetic enhancement. The dark colour reduced glare from intense Egyptian sunlight, functioning somewhat like modern sunglasses. This practical benefit made kohl genuinely useful for eye comfort, particularly in desert environments with strong reflected light from sand. The oils in kohl preparations moisturised the delicate skin around the eyes, preventing dryness and the formation of fine lines from sun exposure and squinting. The moisturising function meant that wearing kohl actually protected eye area skin rather than just covering it. Some components of traditional kohl may have provided antimicrobial protection, helping prevent eye infections in an environment where dust, sand and insects posed constant threats to eye health. While not as effective as modern treatments, any antimicrobial effect would have been beneficial, and might explain why Egyptians maintained the practice so consistently. The visual impact of coal was dramatic and intentional. The elongated almond shape created by extending coal beyond the natural eye outline was distinctive and immediately identifiable as Egyptian for Cleopatra. Wearing this traditional Egyptian eye makeup declared her connection to Egyptian tradition and her role as pharaoh. The application of coal required skill and practice. Creating the symmetrical, precisely shaped eye makeup seen in Egyptian art demanded steady hands, good tools, and experienced Cleopatra would have had servants trained specifically in cosmetics application who could create perfect eye makeup daily. The tools for applying coal included small sticks or rods, often made from wood or metal, that were used to apply and smooth the coal paste. These applicators needed to be fine-tipped to create precise lines and were cleaned carefully between uses. Archaeological excavations have uncovered numerous ancient coal applicators, showing their importance in Egyptian daily life. Coal containers were often beautiful objects in themselves, made from stone, glass or precious materials. Royal coal containers would have been particularly elaborate, decorated with inlays, carved designs, or precious metal fittings. The containers protected the coal from drying out while demonstrating the owner's status through their artistry. Beyond basic coal, Egyptians used other eye cosmetics. Ground malachite created green eye colour that was worn alternatively or in combination with black coal. The green colour had its own aesthetic appeal and carried different symbolic associations than black. Eyebrow darkening and shaping was part of Egyptian facial cosmetics. Well-defined, dramatic eyebrows framed the eyes and contributed to the overall impact of Egyptian eye makeup. The eyebrows might be darkened with coal or other dark substances and shaped to create elegant, distinctive brows. Red ochre, a natural iron oxide mineral, provided the primary red pigment for Egyptian cosmetics. Ground and mixed with oils or fats, red ochre created rouge for cheeks and colour for lips. The red colour added warmth and vitality to the face, suggesting health and youth. The application of rouge required skill to achieve natural-looking colour intensity and placement. Too little, and the effect was invisible. Too much, and it appeared garish. Cleopatra's cosmetic servants would have been expert in achieving the subtle perfection that made the makeup enhance rather than overwhelm. Lip colouring using red ochre or other red substances provided colour while the oil base moisturised the lips. The combination of colour and moisture protected lips from sun exposure and drying winds while enhancing facial appearance. Yellow ochre provided golden tones that could be mixed with red ochre to create various shades or could be used alone for different colour effects. The ability to blend different pigments allowed creation of customised colours suited to individual preferences and different occasions. White pigments, unfortunately often lead-based in ancient Egypt, lightened skin tone according to Egyptian beauty ideals that associated pale skin with nobility and leisure. Cleopatra likely used skin-lightening preparations despite their toxic effects, following beauty standards of her culture even when they were harmful. The lead-based cosmetics caused cumulative health problems that Egyptians gradually recognised, but the social pressure to conform to beauty ideals that valued pale skin often outweighed health concerns. This tension between beauty and health existed in ancient Egypt as it has in many cultures throughout history. Alternative skin lightening using non-toxic ingredients like rice powder or chalk provided safer options, though they were generally less effective than lead-based preparations. The choice between effectiveness and safety was real for ancient cosmetics users, just as it sometimes is in modern beauty culture. The overall effect of Cleopatra's full facial cosmetics, the dramatic eyes with elongated kohl lines, the shaped and darkened eyebrows, the coloured lips, the enhanced cheeks, possibly lightened skin, created a distinctive appearance that was unmistakably royal, traditionally Egyptian, and calculated to impress. The time required for applying cosmetics to achieve perfect results was substantial. The process couldn't be rushed without sacrificing quality. Cleopatra devoted significant time daily to cosmetics application, accepting this investment as necessary for maintaining her appearance and the political image it projected. The cosmetic application process was also a private time for reflection, preparation for the day ahead, or simply relaxation. While servants worked on her appearance, Cleopatra could think, plan or receive reports from advisors. The time spent on beauty preparation wasn't necessarily wasted from a productivity standpoint. The political function of Cleopatra's cosmetics was significant. Her appearance declared her wealth. Only the wealthy could afford elaborate daily cosmetics. Her Egyptian identity, the distinctive Egyptian eye makeup connected her to millennia of pharaonic tradition, and her divine status. Egyptian rulers were considered gods, and perfect appearance was expected of divinity. When meeting foreign dignitaries, particularly Romans, Cleopatra's Egyptian cosmetics visually emphasized that she was Egypt's ruler, not a subordinate. The exotic, to Roman eyes, Egyptian makeup declared cultural confidence and independence. Her appearance was a political statement as much as personal grooming. Understanding Cleopatra's daily beauty routine requires imagining the sequence of activities from waking through sleep, each day involving multiple treatments, applications, and maintenance activities managed by numerous servants. The routine was complex, time-consuming, and essential to maintaining the legendary appearance. Cleopatra's day began with morning beauty preparations that transformed her from sleep to public presentation. This process took substantial time and involved multiple stages and numerous servants, each performing specialized tasks. The morning preparation wasn't a simple washing up, but was an elaborate ritual. Upon waking, Cleopatra's first activity was likely mouth care. Ancient Egyptians understood dental hygiene importance and practiced tooth cleaning using various methods. A mixture of crushed salt, mint, dried iris flowers, and pepper created a tooth cleaning paste that removed debris while freshening breath. The tooth cleaning paste was applied using the finger or a small stick, rubbing it onto teeth and gums to clean and polish. The abrasive particles removed plaque and stains, while the mint freshened breath. The practice was less effective than modern dental care, but represented genuine attempts to maintain oral health and pleasant breath. After oral care, morning bathing followed. This wasn't necessarily a full elaborate bath like the famous milk baths, which might be reserved for special occasions or weekly routines, but was thorough washing with water and cleansing agents. The morning bath removed sleep sweat, cleansed skin, and prepared it for the day's treatments and cosmetics. The morning bath water might include various additives depending on the day's schedule and needs. Flower petals, herbs, or oils might be added for fragrance and skin benefits. The temperature was carefully controlled to be comfortable and appropriate for the season and morning temperature. Servants attended Cleopatra during bathing, washing her hair if that was scheduled for the day, scrubbing her skin with textured cloths or gentle exfoliants, and generally ensuring thorough cleansing. The assistance of servants made the bathing process more thorough and more comfortable than self-bathing could be. After bathing and drying, oil application followed. Generous amounts of scented oil were massaged into Cleopatra's skin across her entire body. The massage was methodical, covering all areas systematically, and using techniques that promoted circulation, while ensuring even distribution of moisturizing protection. Hair care was a significant part of morning routines. Egyptian wigs were commonly worn by the elite, allowing for elaborate hairstyles that natural hair couldn't easily achieve. While protecting natural hair from sun damage, Cleopatra almost certainly wore wigs, at least for formal occasions, that were carefully maintained and styled. The wigs were made from human hair, sourced through trade or collection, and constructed by skilled wig makers. The finest wigs were very expensive, representing substantial investment in appearance. Royal wigs would have been particularly elaborate, with complex braiding, styling, and decoration. Natural hair care was still necessary even when wigs were worn over it. Cleopatra's own hair would be washed regularly, treated with conditioning oils, and maintained in good condition. When not wearing wigs, her natural hair would be styled appropriately, though probably more simply than the elaborate wig styles. Hair washing used similar cleansing agents to body washing, natron-based solutions or plant-derived cleansers. After washing, hair was conditioned with oils that protected and moisturized, while adding sheen castor oil was particularly favored for hair care in ancient Egypt. Cosmetics application followed morning cleansing, oiling, and hair arrangement. This was perhaps the most time-consuming part of morning preparation, requiring skill, patience, and precision. Multiple cosmetic servants worked simultaneously on different aspects, one on eye makeup, another on cheeks and lips, others on final touches. The eye makeup application alone could take considerable time. Creating perfectly symmetrical, precisely shaped kohl lines required steady hands and focused concentration. The servant applying Cleopatra's eye makeup would work carefully, making small exact movements to achieve the desired effect. Lip and cheek colouring was applied with similar care, using brushes or fingers to blend and place the pigments exactly. The goal was enhancement that looked polished rather than obvious, requiring skillful application that made the cosmetics appear natural despite being carefully constructed. After cosmetics, Cleopatra would dress in the day's chosen garments. Egyptian royal clothing was often relatively simple in construction, wrapped and draped rather than tailored, but was made from the finest materials and accessorized elaborately with jewellery, collars, and other decorative elements. The jewellery Cleopatra wore was substantial and symbolically important. As pharaoh, she wore traditional royal regalia including crowns, collars, bracelets, and rings that declared her status and authority. The weight and complexity of royal jewellery meant that dressing required assistance from servants who knew how to properly arrange everything. Throughout the day, servants monitored Cleopatra's appearance and made touch-ups as needed. Ancient cosmetics didn't have the staying power of modern longwear products, so reapplication was necessary. Servants discreetly refreshed her makeup, rearranged her wig or natural hair if needed, and ensured her appearance remained perfect. Midday might include rest periods when Cleopatra could remove some of her formal regalia and relax. Even during rest, basic appearance standards were maintained, though perhaps with less formal cosmetics and simpler clothing. The distinction between public and private presentation allowed for varying levels of formality. Evening routines focused on removing the day's cosmetics and preparations, thoroughly cleansing skin, and applying overnight treatments. The removal process needed to be thorough to prevent cosmetics from clogging pores or causing irritation from prolonged wear. Oil was used to remove cosmetics, as ancient Egypt didn't have modern makeup removers. The oil dissolved the oil-based cosmetics, allowing them to be wiped away with soft cloths. This oil cleansing method is actually quite effective and has been revived in modern beauty culture. After cosmetics removal, thorough washing with water and natron removed the cleansing oil and any remaining cosmetics residue. This double cleansing, oil then water-based cleansing, ensured complete removal of the day's makeup and accumulated dirt. Evening oil application differed from morning application, potentially using different oils or more intensive moisture treatments. Richer oils or oil blends applied at night had all night to absorb and work while Cleopatra slept. The nighttime moisturizing was particularly important for preventing dryness and maintaining skin health. Special overnight treatments might be applied to face, hair, or body. These could include intensive masks, conditioning oils for hair, or treatments for specific skin concerns. The overnight application time allowed treatments to work for extended periods, maximizing their effectiveness. Sleep itself was important for skin health and appearance, something Egyptians understood even without modern scientific knowledge of sleep's role in cellular repair. Ensuring adequate, quality sleep was part of beauty maintenance, making comfortable sleeping arrangements important for appearance as well as rest. The daily cycle repeated with variations based on the schedule's demands. Days with important political meetings or public appearances might require even more elaborate preparation. Days with lighter schedules might allow for somewhat simpler routines, though basic maintenance was always performed. The consistency of daily routines was crucial. Skin health results from cumulative care over time, rather than occasional intensive treatments. Cleopatra's legendary beauty wasn't achieved through sporadic efforts, but through daily dedication to comprehensive skincare and grooming routines that were maintained throughout her life. Beyond Cleopatra's daily beauty routines, special treatments addressed specific concerns, prepared her for particularly important occasions, or simply provided luxurious experiences that were part of royal life. These special treatments were more elaborate, time-consuming and resource-intensive than daily care. Full-body scrubs using various exfoliating agents removed dead skin cells and promoted circulation, leaving skin soft and glowing. The scrubs might use fine sand mixed with oils, creating an effective but gentle exfoliant salt from the Mediterranean or Dead Sea. Mixed with oils provided another exfoliating option. Ground alabaster, a soft stone that pulverized into very fine powder, created a luxurious exfoliant that was gentler than sand, but still effective. Alabaster scrubs were expensive, as the stone needed to be ground to appropriate fineness, but provided an exceptionally refined exfoliation experience. The application of body scrubs involved working the exfoliant over entire body, using circular rubbing motions that stimulated circulation, while the abrasive particles removed dead skin. The process took time and physical effort, usually performed by servants who are skilled in proper technique and pressure. After exfoliation, thorough rinsing removed all the scrub material. The exfoliated skin was then immediately treated with generous oil applications that penetrated more effectively into the freshly revealed skin surface. The combination of exfoliation and intensive moisturizing created dramatically improved skin texture and appearance. Clay masks using Nile mud or imported clays drew out impurities and tightened pores. The clay masks were applied to face and potentially body, left to dry partially, then removed by washing. The clay's absorptive properties removed excess oil and impurities, leaving skin feeling clean and refreshed. Different clays had different properties and were chosen based on desired effects. Green Nile mud was particularly prized for its mineral content and detoxifying properties. Imported clays from various sources provided options for different skin types and treatment goals. Face masks combining multiple beneficial ingredients created comprehensive treatments. A mask might combine honey for antimicrobial and humectant properties, milk for exfoliation, egg whites for temporary tightening, and oils for moisture. These complex masks provided multiple benefits simultaneously. Hair treatments went beyond daily oil conditioning. Deep conditioning treatments using rich oils, eggs, honey, and other nourishing ingredients were applied to hair and left for extended periods, sometimes hours before washing out. These treatments repaired damage and maintained hair health despite the challenging Egyptian climate. Henna treatments coloured hair while conditioning it. Henna, made from ground leaves of the henna plant, created reddish-brown tones in hair, while the conditioning properties of henna improved hair texture and shine. The colour and conditioning benefits made henna a dual-purpose treatment. Hand and foot care received special attention. The hands and feet, constantly exposed to work and environmental elements, required extra care to maintain softness and attractiveness. Special treatments for these areas used rich moisturizers, exfoliants, and sometimes protective coverings overnight. Henna was also applied to hands and feet in intricate designs that served both decorative and conditioning functions. The application of henna patterns was skilled work, creating beautiful temporary designs while the henna treated skin and nails. Nail care included filing and shaping nails, treating cuticles with oils, and sometimes colouring nails with henna or other pigments. Well-maintained nails were a sign of proper grooming and demonstrated that one didn't perform manual labour that would damage nails. Massage treatments beyond the daily oil application provided therapeutic benefits. More intensive massage techniques addressed muscle tension, promoted deep relaxation, and stimulated circulation more aggressively than daily massage did. These treatments were both healthful and luxurious experiences. The massage oils used in therapeutic massage might include special additions believed to enhance effects. Warming spices, herbs with medicinal properties, or particularly fragrant aromatics created massage oils suited to specific therapeutic goals, or simply providing exceptional sensory experiences. Steam treatments opened pores deeply and promoted cleansing. While elaborate steam rooms like later Roman baths didn't exist in Cleopatra's time, steam could be created by pouring water over heated stones in enclosed spaces, creating humid heat that caused profuse sweating believed to purge impurities. After steam treatments, thorough washing and then intensive moisturizing prevented the potential drying effects of heat exposure, while sealing in the benefits of the deep cleansing. The sequence of steam, cleanse, and moisturize created comprehensive skin treatment. Sun protection was important in Egypt's intense sunlight. While ancient Egyptians didn't have modern sunscreen, they used various substances to protect skin from sun exposure. Oils provided some protection by creating barriers. Some plant extracts may have provided mild sun protection, though nothing approaching modern SPF ratings. Protective clothing, shade-seeking behaviour, and timing of outdoor activities to avoid the most intense sun hours were primary sun protection methods. For someone of Cleopatra's status, avoiding sun exposure was relatively easy as servants could perform outdoor tasks while she remained in shaded or indoor spaces. Treatments specifically preparing Cleopatra for important occasions might begin days or weeks in advance. Multiple daily face masks, intensive moisturizing, extra careful sun avoidance, dietary attention, and adequate rest all contributed to bringing her appearance to peak condition for significant events. The preparation for meeting Mark Antony, for state ceremonies, or for other politically crucial moments would have involved maximising every aspect of appearance. The importance of these occasions justified extraordinary effort and expense in beauty preparation. Recovery treatments addressed any damage from sun exposure, dryness, or other environmental factors. When skin became irritated or damaged, specific treatments using soothing ingredients like aloe, honey, milk, or oils helped repair and restore skin health. The availability of skilled practitioners knowledgeable about various treatments meant that Cleopatra could access sophisticated care for any skin concern. The accumulated Egyptian knowledge about treating skin problems provided remedies that, while not matching modern dermatology, represented genuine expertise. Cleopatra's legendary beauty was not achieved through her efforts alone, but required an extensive staff of skilled servants and specialists who dedicated themselves to maintaining her appearance. Understanding the roles and skills of these attendants reveals the sophisticated organisation behind royal beauty maintenance. The chief cosmetic servant held overall responsibility for Cleopatra's appearance, coordinating the various specialists and ensuring that daily routines were properly executed. This person would have been someone of considerable status within the household, trusted completely and possessing extensive knowledge about beauty practices. Specific servants specialised in particular aspects of beauty care. Eye makeup application was skilled work requiring steady hands and artistic ability. The servant responsible for Cleopatra's eye makeup would perform this task daily, developing exceptional proficiency through constant practice. The wig specialist maintained Cleopatra's collection of wigs, styling them, cleaning them, and ensuring they were ready for wear whenever needed. Wig care was complex, requiring knowledge of how to handle human hair without damaging it, how to clean and refresh wigs, and how to execute various styling techniques. Massage servants trained specifically in therapeutic massage techniques, performed the daily oil massages, and more intensive therapeutic massage treatments. Their knowledge of anatomy, pressure points, and effective massage movements came from training and experience accumulated over years. Bath attendants prepared bathing water, ensuring proper temperature and adding appropriate additives. They assisted during bathing, washing Cleopatra's hair and body, managing the bathing process efficiently and ensuring her comfort throughout. Perfumers created the scented oils and perfumes used throughout Cleopatra's routines. These specialists possessed deep knowledge of fragrance ingredients, extraction techniques, and blending principles. Their ability to create beautiful, complex scents was valuable specialized expertise. The still room or cosmetic preparation area was where various beauty products were made fresh for daily use. Servants worked in this area grinding ingredients, mixing preparations, and creating the day's needed products according to established recipes and Cleopatra's preferences. Herbalists identified, grew, and processed plants used in beauty preparations. Their botanical knowledge ensured that the plant materials used were correctly identified, properly harvested, and appropriately prepared for use in cosmetics and treatments. The servants' training occurred through apprenticeship systems, where experienced practitioners taught newcomers. Young servants might begin with simple tasks, gradually learning more complex techniques as they demonstrated ability and reliability. The most skilled eventually rose to positions of primary responsibility. The transmission of beauty knowledge from experienced servants to trainees preserved traditional Egyptian practices across generations. Recipes, techniques, and specialized knowledge were passed down through this apprenticeship system, maintaining continuity with ancient traditions. Some beauty servants may have been enslaved people who performed their duties as labour obligations, while others might have been free servants, employed specifically for their expertise. The status varied, though those with exceptional skills likely received better treatment and enjoyed some status within the household hierarchy. The living and working conditions for beauty servants who served Cleopatra directly would have been relatively good compared to other slaves or servants. Proximity to the queen, involvement in important daily rituals, and the value of their specialized skills provided some protection and privilege. The coordination required among multiple servants performing simultaneous tasks demanded organization and communication. The chief cosmetic servant managed this coordination, ensuring that various activities happened in proper sequence, and that servants didn't interfere with each other's work. The knowledge possessed by Cleopatra's beauty servants represented accumulated wisdom from generations of Egyptian practice. These servants weren't simply following instructions, but understood principles behind the practices and could adapt to varying circumstances or needs. Innovation within traditional frameworks meant that skilled servants might develop variations on standard treatments, or discover improved techniques through experimentation and observation. The continuous refinement of practices kept Egyptian beauty culture dynamic rather than merely traditional. The economic value of highly skilled beauty servants meant they represented significant investments. Training someone to expert level took years, making experienced practitioners valuable assets. This value likely provided some job security and ensured adequate treatment. The daily intimate contact between Cleopatra and her beauty servants created relationships that went beyond simple master-servant dynamics. The servants who touched her body, saw her without cosmetics, and attended her private moments necessarily developed closer relationships than more distant servants. Trust was essential in these relationships. Servants in such intimate positions knew royal secrets and could potentially cause harm through deliberate or accidental actions. Cleopatra needed absolute confidence in these servants' loyalty and discretion. The rewards for loyal, skilled service might include special treatment, gifts, or eventual freedom for enslaved servants. Maintaining the loyalty of key beauty servants was important enough to justify treating them relatively well and providing incentives for continued excellent service. The reputation of serving Cleopatra herself would enhance a servant's status and future prospects. Those who successfully maintained the queen's appearance gained recognition for their skills that could lead to positions with other elite families if they left royal service. The specialization within beauty service demonstrates the sophistication of Egyptian royal households. Rather than general servants who performed various tasks, specific individuals focused on particular aspects of beauty care, developing deep expertise in their specialties. The preservation of beauty knowledge within servant communities meant that even if written records were lost, practical knowledge survived through human memory and transmission. This oral tradition paralleled the written cosmetic recipes preserved in papyri. Modern understanding of Cleopatra's beauty routines must acknowledge that what she did to maintain her appearance actually means what her servants did to and for her. Her legendary beauty resulted from systems of expertise and labour that she directed but didn't personally execute. Cleopatra's beauty routine wasn't mere vanity, but was calculated political strategy. Her appearance was a tool of governance, a means of projecting power, a way to command respect in a male-dominated political environment, and a method of controlling how others perceived her. Understanding this political dimension is crucial for understanding why her beauty routine mattered so much. As a woman ruler in the ancient world, Cleopatra faced challenges that male rulers didn't encounter. Her gender was a political liability in cultures that expected men to hold power. She needed to establish authority despite gender-based prejudices about women's capabilities for governance and leadership. Physical appearance was one tool Cleopatra used to establish authority and command respect. By maintaining perfect appearance according to Egyptian ideals, she demonstrated the self-discipline, resources, and cultural sophistication expected of a pharaoh. Her beauty declared her fitness to rule. The specifically Egyptian nature of her cosmetics and grooming declared her identity as Egypt's rightful ruler. The distinctive kohl-lined eyes, the traditional Egyptian wigs and clothing, the overall presentation that was unmistakably Egyptian, all this visually proclaimed that she was pharaoh, continuing millennia of Egyptian royal tradition. This was particularly important because Cleopatra was ethnically Greek, descended from Macedonian rulers who had controlled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries. Previous Ptolemaic rulers had maintained Greek cultural identity, largely ignoring Egyptian traditions. Cleopatra's embrace of Egyptian appearance was deliberate political choice. By presenting herself as traditionally Egyptian, Cleopatra connected herself to native Egyptian populations who might otherwise resent foreign rulers. The visual declaration that she was Egyptian pharaoh, not merely Greek queen, helped to legitimize her rule and build support among Egyptian subjects. When dealing with Romans, however, Cleopatra could adapt her presentation. Roman sources describe her appearing in Greek or Roman styles when meeting Roman dignitaries, demonstrating cultural flexibility and sophistication that impressed her audiences. Her ability to successfully present herself in different cultural modes showed intelligence and political skill. The famous meetings with Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony required careful appearance management. Cleopatra needed to appear impressively beautiful and sophisticated, but also appropriately royal and powerful. Her appearance in these meetings was carefully calculated to attract personally, while commanding political respect. Ancient sources describe Cleopatra's charm and charisma as much as physical beauty, suggesting her personal magnetism derived from the total presentation: intelligence, education, wit, voice, and carefully crafted appearance working together. The beauty routine was one component of a larger strategy of personal presentation. The resources devoted to Cleopatra's appearance demonstrated Egypt's wealth. The expensive ingredients, the staff of specialists, the time invested, all showed that Egypt commanded abundant resources. This display of wealth was itself a political message about Egypt's power and prosperity under Cleopatra's rule. Rival powers needed to see Egypt as strong and wealthy to respect Cleopatra's sovereignty, and negotiate seriously rather than simply attempting conquest. Visible displays of luxury, including Cleopatra's elaborate personal presentation, contributed to perceptions of Egyptian strength. The famous story of Cleopatra dissolving a pearl in vinegar to demonstrate her wealth to Mark Antony illustrates her understanding of theatrical gesture. Whether historically accurate or embellished, the story captures Cleopatra's approach, using displays of extravagance to make political points. Similarly, her beauty routine itself was theatrical. The effort and expense invested in her appearance was partly about actually looking good, but was also about being known to take such elaborate care. The reputation for extraordinary beauty maintenance enhanced her mystique. Gender added complexity to the political use of beauty. While physical attractiveness helped Cleopatra influence male leaders, it also risked undermining her authority if she appeared to be using attraction manipulatively rather than ruling through legitimate authority and ability. Cleopatra navigated this tension by being both attractive and formidable. Ancient sources emphasize her intelligence, education, and political skill alongside her beauty. The combination commanded respect rather than merely inspiring attraction. She was beautiful and capable, not beautiful instead of capable. The protection of her image required controlling how she was depicted and described. Cleopatra likely influenced artistic representations, ensuring she was shown in ways that reinforced her desired image. The consistency of her visual presentation across contexts created strong brand identity. Her appearance at formal occasions and ceremonies needed to be perfect, because these events were when she was most visible to largest audiences. The preparation for significant public appearances justified extraordinary effort because the political stakes were so high. The aging process posed political challenges. As Cleopatra aged, maintaining appearance became more difficult while remaining important for political authority. The beauty routines intensified to combat visible aging, as appearing old might be interpreted as weakened authority. Egyptian traditions of youthful appearance for rulers meant that pharaohs were typically depicted as eternally youthful, regardless of actual age. Cleopatra needed to match this artistic convention, in reality as much as possible, making anti-aging efforts politically important. The preservation of beauty into middle age demonstrated vitality and vigour that translated into perceptions of political strength. A ruler who appeared healthy and vital seemed more capable of effective governance than one who appeared aged and weak. Cleopatra's understanding of the political uses of beauty was sophisticated and strategic. Her legendary appearance wasn't accidental or simply personal preference, but was carefully constructed to serve political purposes. The beauty routine was statecraft as much as self-care. Modern understanding of Cleopatra's beauty must acknowledge this political dimension. Dismissing her beauty care as vanity misses the point that her appearance was a tool of power. Appreciation for her beauty routine should include recognition of the intelligence behind it. Cleopatra's beauty routine depended on resources from across the ancient world. Understanding the sources and supply chains for her cosmetic ingredients reveals the economic complexity behind royal beauty maintenance and demonstrates how beauty culture connected to trade networks and political economy. Local Egyptian ingredients formed the foundation of Cleopatra's beauty routine. The Nile provided water for bathing and washing. Egyptian agriculture produced oils, honeys, milk, and plant materials used in various treatments. These local resources were abundant and reliable, available without dependence on trade. Moringa oil, pressed from seeds of moringa trees growing in Egypt and surrounding regions, was the primary Egyptian moisturizing oil. The moringa trees thrived in hot, dry conditions, producing seeds that yielded light, pleasant-smelling oil ideal for skincare. The abundance of moringa meant oil was readily available. Castor oil came from castor beans that grew in Egypt and could be cultivated deliberately for oil production. The castor plants required minimal care and produced abundantly, making castor oil accessible and affordable even though the best quality oil commanded premium prices. Natron deposits occurred naturally in dried lake beds in several Egyptian locations. The collection of natron was straightforward, requiring only labour to gather the crystalline deposits and bring them to markets. The natural abundance meant cleansing agents were readily available to all social classes. Honey came from Egyptian beekeeping, a well-established practice with techniques passed down through generations. Beekeepers maintained hives, managed bee colonies, and harvested honey regularly. The quality of honey varied based on the flowers bees fed on, with certain flower sources producing particularly valued honey. Milk required maintaining herds of animals, cows, goats, or donkeys depending on the intended use. For Cleopatra's famous milk baths using donkey milk, maintaining donkey herds specifically for milk production represented significant resource investment in infrastructure and labour. However, many ingredients for elaborate beauty treatments came from outside Egypt through trade networks that stretched across the Mediterranean into Arabia and along routes connecting to Asia. These imported ingredients demonstrated Egypt's commercial connections and added exotic prestige to beauty preparations. Frankincense came from southern Arabia and the Horn of Africa, where boswellia trees grew wild or were cultivated. The resin collection was labour-intensive, requiring skilled workers who knew when and how to score the tree bark to produce optimal resin flow. The dried resin travelled long distances to reach Egyptian markets. The frankincense trade was ancient and well established, with regular caravans moving incense from production areas to Mediterranean markets. Egypt imported substantial quantities for religious use, with additional imports for perfumery and cosmetics. The expense made frankincense a luxury item. Myrrh came from similar regions and followed similar trade routes. The combined frankincense and myrrh trade sustained entire economies in southern Arabia, with the incense trade's profits funding the wealthy kingdoms that controlled incense-producing regions. Cinnamon and cassia, aromatic tree barks, came from even more distant sources through complex trade networks. The exact sources were sometimes deliberately obscured by traders who wanted to maintain monopolies and command high prices. The spices passed through multiple hands before reaching Egypt. The expense of these imported spices meant they were luxury items available mainly to the wealthy. For Cleopatra, using cinnamon or cassia in beauty preparations demonstrated access to the finest imported goods that most people never encountered. Saffron, produced from the stigmas of crocus flowers, was extraordinarily expensive due to the labour-intensive production process. Each flower produced only 3 stigmas, requiring tens of thousands of flowers to produce small quantities of saffron. The price reflected this labour intensity. Saffron came from various regions around the Mediterranean where the appropriate crocus species grew. Egyptian traders imported it through Mediterranean commercial networks. Its use in Cleopatra's beauty preparations demonstrated extravagant luxury, as saffron was among the most expensive substances by weight in the ancient world. Certain dyes and pigments required imports. While Egypt produced ochres and some mineral pigments locally, other colours required imported materials. The palette of colours available for cosmetics depended partly on trade connections that brought unusual minerals and dyes from distant regions. Glass containers for storing cosmetics and perfumes were valuable trade goods. While Egypt developed glass-making expertise during this period, particularly fine glass pieces might be imported. The containers themselves represented significant value beyond their contents. The management of supply chains for beauty ingredients required coordination and organisation. Purchasing agents, storage facilities, quality control processes, and payment systems all needed to function smoothly to ensure reliable supplies of everything needed for royal beauty maintenance. The economic impact of royal cosmetic consumption was significant. The purchase of ingredients provided income to producers and traders. The employment of specialists created jobs. The overall effect stimulated economic activity that extended far beyond the palace walls. Control over trade routes and good commercial relationships were therefore important for maintaining the royal beauty regimen. Political disruptions that interfered with trade could affect the availability of imported ingredients, making beauty maintenance unexpectedly tied to political and economic circumstances. The diversity of ingredient sources created some resilience in supply chains. If one source became unavailable, alternative sources or substitute ingredients might be found. The flexibility in formulations allowed adaptation to changing availability while maintaining overall quality. The documentation of ingredients in Egyptian papyri reveals extensive knowledge about ingredient properties, sourcing, and appropriate uses. This recorded knowledge ensured that practices could continue across generations, even as individual practitioners came and went. The preservation of supply networks required diplomatic relationships with regions that produced important ingredients. Egypt's political relationships with Arabia, for instance, affected access to frankincense and myrrh. Maintaining friendly relations served multiple purposes, including reliable trade. The wealth required to maintain elaborate beauty routines using expensive imported ingredients was substantial. Cleopatra's beauty spending represented a tiny fraction of royal expenditure, but still would have been an impressive sum by any standard. The ability to spend lavishly on beauty was itself a demonstration of royal wealth. While Cleopatra's milk baths remain her most famous bathing practice, her bathing routine encompassed far more variety. Water treatments in various forms were central to Egyptian cleanliness culture and to Cleopatra's beauty maintenance, with different bathing practices serving different purposes. Daily washing with water and cleansing agents was the foundation of cleanliness. This wasn't necessarily full immersion bathing, but thorough washing of the entire body to remove accumulated dirt, sweat and oils. The daily washing maintained baseline cleanliness that allowed other beauty treatments to work more effectively. The water for daily washing came from the Nile, transported to the palace, and stored in facilities that kept it accessible. The temperature was adjusted by mixing water from storage with heated water, achieving comfortable warmth without the effort of heating entire baths. The cleansing agents mixed with water created solutions that enhanced cleaning effectiveness. Natron in appropriate concentrations created mildly alkaline washing water that cut through oils and dirt. Plant-based cleansers provided alternatives that were gentler but still effective. Full immersion, bathing in large tubs filled with plain water, provided relaxation and thorough cleansing. The quantity of water required was substantial, but for royal bathing facilities, supplying adequate water wasn't challenging. Servants carried heated water to fill the tubs to desired levels. The bathing tubs themselves were sophisticated fixtures, often made from stone or metal, designed to hold enough water for comfortable immersion while allowing for drainage. The engineering of royal bathing facilities demonstrated considerable sophistication in water management. Hot water bathing opened pores deeply and caused sweating that Egyptians believed purged impurities from the body. The heat also relaxed muscles and created generally pleasant sensations that made bathing a luxurious experience beyond mere cleansing. Cold water bathing or cool water rinsing after hot bathing provided contrasting sensations that were believed to be healthful. The temperature shock tightened pores and invigorated the body, creating feelings of refreshment and energy. The alternation between hot and cold water treatments anticipated later Roman bath culture's elaborate temperature sequences. While less formalized than Roman thermae practices would become, Egyptian bathing already recognized the benefits of varying water temperatures. Aromatic bathing using scented waters created pleasant olfactory experiences while providing whatever benefits the scenting ingredients offered. Rose water, created by distilling or steeping roses, provided distinctive fragrance. Other flower waters offered different scents. Herbal bathing infusions added plant materials to bathing water to release their compounds. Various herbs might be chosen for different purposes. Relaxing herbs for evening baths, invigorating herbs for morning routines, skin-soothing herbs for treating irritation, salt bathing using salt from the Mediterranean or mineral-rich Dead Sea. Salt provided minerals to skin, while the salt's slight abrasiveness exfoliated, and the minerals potentially offered therapeutic benefits. Salt baths left skin feeling smooth and somewhat tightened. Oil bathing, where oil was added directly to bathing water, created an emulsion that deposited a thin oil layer on skin as one emerged from the bath. This practice simultaneously cleansed and moisturized, making it efficient though less thorough than separate cleansing and moisturizing steps. The ritual aspects of bathing were as important as the physical cleansing. Bathing marked transitions, from sleep to wakefulness, from public responsibilities to private time, from one phase of beauty routine to the next. The ritual structured time and provided psychological preparation for what followed. Bathing spaces were designed to be pleasant environments where extended time was comfortable. Good lighting, comfortable temperatures, pleasant scents, soothing sounds of water all contributed to making bathing chambers places where one wanted to spend time. The duration of bathing sessions varied. Quick morning washes might take only minutes, while elaborate milk baths or other special treatments could last an hour or more. The flexibility allowed bathing practices to adapt to daily schedules and needs. Seasonal variations in bathing practices reflected temperature changes. Summer bathing might emphasize cooling, with more cool water use and refreshing additives. Winter bathing focused on warmth, with hot water and warming oils predominating. The timing of bathing within daily routines followed practical considerations. Morning bathing prepared one for the day. Evening bathing removed the day's accumulation and prepared for rest. Additional midday bathing might occur during hot weather, or after particularly dirty or sweaty activities. Bathing before significant events ensured optimal appearance. The combination of thorough cleansing, exfoliation if appropriate, and immediate follow-up moisturizing created the best possible skin condition for cosmetics application and public presentation. Recovery bathing after sun exposure or other environmental stresses used soothing additives like aloe or cooling herbs. These therapeutic baths addressed specific problems rather than simply maintaining general cleanliness. Social bathing, where multiple people bathed together or in adjacent facilities while socializing, occurred in some contexts, though, was more associated with later Roman culture than with Egyptian practice. Cleopatra's bathing was likely primarily solitary, attended by servants but not by social equals. The symbolic significance of bathing extended beyond physical cleanliness to spiritual purity. Egyptian religious observances required cleansing before temple participation, making bathing a regular religious practice as well as a beauty routine. Priestly bathing requirements were particularly strict, with priests bathing multiple times daily and following specific cleansing procedures. While Cleopatra as pharaoh wasn't exactly a priest, her semi-divine status meant she similarly observed high cleanliness standards for religious reasons. The water itself held symbolic meaning in Egyptian thought. The Nile was the source of Egypt's life and prosperity. Using Nile water for bathing connected one to Egypt's fundamental life force. The water's purity was itself somewhat sacred. Modern archaeological evidence of ancient bathing facilities provides information about construction techniques, water management systems, and spatial arrangements. These physical remains supplement literary evidence, creating fuller pictures of ancient bathing practices. The evolution of bathing practices over Egyptian history shows continuous refinement and elaboration. By Cleopatra's time, bathing culture had reached sophisticated heights, combining practical cleanliness with luxury, therapeutic benefits with ritual significance. Cleopatra's beauty reputation didn't end with her life, but has persisted for over 2 millennia, influencing beauty culture, inspiring countless artistic representations, and shaping how subsequent generations understood beauty and power. Her legacy demonstrates how one individual's approach to personal appearance can resonate through history. The immediate aftermath of Cleopatra's reign saw her memory manipulated for political purposes. Her Roman enemies, particularly Octavian, later Augustus, portrayed her as a dangerous seductress who used beauty and attraction to manipulate Roman leaders. This negative portrayal shaped early historical accounts. However, even hostile accounts acknowledged her remarkable qualities, including beauty and charm. Plutarch's description, written more than a century later, presented a more balanced view that recognized her intelligence and personal magnetism, alongside her physical appearance. Later Roman and early medieval sources kept Cleopatra's memory alive, though often with fantastic embellishments. Her story was told and retold, with each telling adding new details or emphasis. The milk baths became particularly famous elements of her legend. Medieval European interest in Cleopatra was filtered through various cultural lenses. Christian moral interpretations often portrayed her negatively, as an example of worldly vanity and dangerous female power. Yet even these moralistic accounts preserved her beauty reputation. Renaissance interest in classical antiquity revived interest in Cleopatra's story. artists began depicting her regularly, imagining her beauty according to Renaissance standards rather than Egyptian ones. These artistic representations shaped popular imagination about her appearance. The Renaissance and later periods saw various beauty preparations marketed as Cleopatra's Secrets, or similar names. These products often had no actual connection to ancient practices, but capitalized on Cleopatra's reputation to sell cosmetics. The tradition of milk baths specifically was particularly persistent. Wealthy European women for centuries afterward took milk baths. Citing Cleopatra's example, the practice continued into modern times, with some luxury spas still offering milk bath treatments explicitly connected to Cleopatra's legend. The 19th century saw renewed scholarly interest in ancient Egypt, following Napoleon's Egyptian campaign and the decipherment of hieroglyphics. This Egyptomania included fascination with Egyptian beauty practices, with Cleopatra as the most famous exemplar. Victorian and Edwardian beauty manuals often included sections on ancient beauty secrets, with Egyptian practices, and Cleopatra featuring prominently. The scientific accuracy of these accounts varied widely, mixing some genuine knowledge with considerable speculation and romantic embellishment. The 20th century's film industry created the most influential Cleopatra representations in history. From Theda Bara's 1917 portrayal, through Elizabeth Taylor's iconic 1963 performance, cinema shaped how millions imagined Cleopatra. These film representations prioritized dramatic beauty and glamour over historical accuracy. Elizabeth Taylor's Cleopatra particularly cemented modern visual expectations about Cleopatra's appearance. Taylor's dramatic eye makeup, distinctive hairstyles, and elaborate costumes created templates that influenced how Cleopatra has been imagined, since the film's enormous cultural impact made Taylor's interpretation definitive for generations. Modern beauty product marketing frequently references Cleopatra, with numerous products named after her or claiming to use her beauty secrets. Some of these products do incorporate traditional ingredients like milk or honey, while others simply borrow her name for its powerful associations. The spa industry has embraced Cleopatra-inspired treatments, offering Cleopatra milk baths, Egyptian queen facials, and similar services that draw on her legend. These treatments often do use traditional ingredients, though adapted with modern formulations and techniques. Natural and organic beauty movements have found inspiration in the Egyptian practices, including those associated with Cleopatra. The emphasis on natural ingredients, traditional knowledge, and holistic approaches resonates with modern consumers seeking alternatives to synthetic cosmetics. DIY beauty enthusiasts frequently explore Cleopatra-inspired treatments, making milk and honey masks, using natural oils, and trying other practices described in historical sources. The accessibility of information allows modern experimenters to recreate ancient beauty treatments. Academic interest in ancient beauty culture includes serious study of Egyptian cosmetic practices. Archaeologists, chemists, and historians collaborate to understand ancient cosmetics more accurately, moving beyond legend to documented knowledge. Chemical analysis of ancient cosmetic remains from Egyptian archaeological sites reveals actual formulations and ingredients used. These scientific studies sometimes confirm traditional accounts, and sometimes reveal unexpected ingredients or techniques. Experimental archaeology includes recreating ancient cosmetic preparations using traditional methods and ingredients, testing their effectiveness, and understanding how they would have been experienced by ancient users. These experiments provide insights that purely textual or archaeological analysis can't achieve. The broader cultural impact of Cleopatra's beauty legend extends beyond beauty products to discussions of feminine power, the political uses of appearance, and the complex relationship between physical beauty and other forms of power and achievement. Modern feminist interpretations have reconsidered Cleopatra's beauty, some rejecting emphasis on her appearance as reductive, others reclaiming her strategic use of beauty as a form of agency in patriarchal contexts. These discussions show how Cleopatra remains relevant to contemporary debates. The multicultural dimensions of Cleopatra's beauty have attracted attention in discussions of beauty standards and representation. The historical Cleopatra was ethnically Greek Macedonian ruling in Egypt, but her cultural identity and how she should be depicted remain contested in modern cultural debates. The persistence of Cleopatra's beauty legend demonstrates the power of compelling narratives to transcend their historical moments. The story of the beautiful queen maintaining her appearance through elaborate routines using luxurious ingredients appeals to something fundamental in human imagination. The validation that many of Cleopatra's practices were genuinely effective adds substance to the legend. She wasn't just mythologically beautiful, but used methods that actually worked, grounding the legend in reality even as it acquired fantastical embellishments. The modern revival of some traditional beauty practices Cleopatra used, milk baths, honey masks, natural oils, suggests her legend continues to influence actual beauty behaviour, not just imagination. Her methods remain relevant millennia after her life. As we conclude this extensive exploration of Cleopatra's beauty routine, certain patterns and insights emerge that connect her ancient practices to modern understanding, while revealing the sophistication of Egyptian beauty culture at its peak. Cleopatra's legendary beauty resulted from multiple factors working together: genetics, resources, dedicated attention, skilled practitioners, effective traditional methods, and the intelligence to present herself strategically. Her beauty wasn't accidental, but was carefully constructed and maintained through daily effort. The sophistication of Egyptian beauty culture that Cleopatra inherited and perfected represented 3,000 years of accumulated knowledge. This traditional wisdom, developed through observation and experimentation across millennia, identified genuinely effective ingredients and methods that modern science validates. The resources available to Cleopatra as ruler of one of the ancient world's wealthiest kingdoms were extraordinary. The ability to access any ingredient, employ any specialist, and devote unlimited time to beauty maintenance created optimal conditions for achieving and maintaining exceptional appearance. The political dimensions of Cleopatra's beauty routine remind us that appearance isn't always purely personal, but can serve broader purposes. Her carefully maintained appearance was a tool of statecraft, a means of projecting power, and a way of controlling her image and influence. The daily consistency of Cleopatra's routine demonstrates understanding that beauty results from cumulative care over time. The commitment to daily cleansing, moisturizing, and maintenance, supplemented by special treatments, created the conditions for the legendary beauty she achieved. The servants and specialists who maintained Cleopatra's appearance possessed valuable expertise developed through training and experience. Their skills made possible the elaborate routines that would have been impossible for one person to perform alone. The holistic approach of Egyptian beauty culture, connecting appearance to overall health and well-being, created comprehensive care that addressed multiple dimensions of health and beauty simultaneously. This integrated approach anticipated modern wellness-focused beauty philosophies. The validation by modern science of many traditional practices Cleopatra used demonstrates the empirical soundness of Egyptian beauty knowledge. Milk, honey, oils, and other ingredients that Egyptians use for millennia are recognized by contemporary dermatology as genuinely beneficial. However, not everything traditional was beneficial, and some practices like lead-based skin lightening were harmful. Modern understanding allows selective adoption of effective traditional methods, while rejecting harmful ones, creating optimal synthesis of traditional wisdom and contemporary science. The accessibility of some of Cleopatra's beauty secrets means that modern people can experiment with traditional treatments using ingredients readily available. While we can't replicate her access to servants, time, and resources, we can use milk, honey, and oils to experience some of what made Egyptian skincare effective. The enduring fascination with Cleopatra's beauty demonstrates the power of compelling historical figures to capture imagination across centuries. Her story continues to interest because it combines beauty, power, intelligence, and tragedy in ways that resonate with timeless themes. The lesson of Cleopatra's beauty routine might be that exceptional appearance requires exceptional dedication. The legendary results required corresponding legendary effort. While most people can't or won't devote such resources to appearance, understanding the commitment involved contextualizes the results. Yet the fundamental practices, cleansing thoroughly, moisturizing consistently, protecting from sun exposure, addressing specific concerns with appropriate treatments, are accessible to all. The basics of Cleopatra's routine can be adapted to any resource level, even if not achieved with the same luxury. The night deepens. The journey through Cleopatra's beauty secrets comes to its peaceful conclusion. But the connection remains. Across 21 centuries, the quest for beautiful skin, healthy hair, and attractive appearance connects modern people to this ancient queen. May this understanding bring appreciation for the sophistication of ancient beauty culture, recognition that traditional practices often had genuine effectiveness, and perspective on the effort required for legendary beauty. May it bring inspiration to care for oneself with dedication and intelligence, using the best available knowledge and resources to maintain health and appearance. May it bring historical awareness that beauty practices reflect and shape cultures, that appearance has political dimensions, that personal care connects to broader social patterns and values. And may it bring the comfort of knowing that across vast expanses of time and enormous cultural differences, humans have always sought to care for themselves, to enhance their natural beauty, and to present themselves with confidence and pride. Cleopatra's dedication to her appearance was extreme, but the impulse was universal and timeless. Good night, and may rest come gently, perhaps with dreams of ancient palaces where milk flows for bathing, where honey masks refresh, where skilled hands massage fragrant oils into skin, where beauty is cultivated as an art and maintained with the dedication of statecraft, connecting you across millennia to the legendary Queen of Egypt and her timeless pursuit of perfection.